Nation, what a year, what a year, what a year. All right, so this is the mid-season, mid-year. We already talking draft. That lets you know where we stand at for this particular year. Now, on the second half of the season, I do know that we can look at it and say, okay, who can we find that can be on this team next year? Will Jordan Lewis earn his grade of salt, right? Will Xavier Woods turn the corner? I doubt it on Xavier Woods, but there's still hope, right? All right, so with that being said, you got Cheeto Woozier coming back. We know that AB, he signed for a futures contract, so there's nowhere to really look at his situation saying he's gone. So where can this team build upon? Who can they build on? Who can they look at and say, well, let's focus in on this? Maybe it's Never Gallimore. Some people are looking at it and saying maybe it's Tristan Hill. Now, my thing is, this is my stance. And I think that a lot of people are getting me wrong when I'm saying that you really don't know what you got out of Tristan Hill yet. It's because his first year was pretty much his redshirt year, didn't have a lot of snaps or what have you. And then his second year, we saw what happened. He made the team or what have you, but it's still one of those situations where you still don't know. And he got to prove it again, all over again. And on top of that, by this time next year, Never Gallimore will have more snaps than him. Let that sink in. Will have more experience than him. So there's always a situation where we have to look at this thing now and say, okay, maybe we'll put a placeholder on Tristan Hill, but we still need a big dog next to him. Antwan Woods is good. He's a solid player. He stood up to the testament. He stood up to the battle. He said, hey, we'll see about it, right? When he was talking about the fact that I said I would like to see him at limited snaps and I'd like to see him come in as a rotational piece. And boy, I was wrong. I'm the type of guy, when I'm wrong, I'm going to go ahead and admit it. I was wrong. I said it would be better for Poe to start over him and for him to get limited snaps. Now, I was wrong as it relates to the confines of this particular team, but I believe that this team still need to go in and address that particular moment or that particular part of this defensive front, if I can put it in those words. But shout out to him. He's holding down the fort, but we still ain't winning nothing, right? We still not getting the dominance that we'd like to see from that position. We can talk about a feel-good story that a guy that made this team and he's making movements, but we need more pressure from the interior. So I believe that they still should invest in that. They shouldn't be gun shy. And if they have to do it through the draft, then go ahead and do it through the draft. But even doing it through the draft, it may still take 2 years for that particular player to develop, to get his man body together. So there's so many things that we would have to look at as it relates to that interior front four. But I will say I do like the solid job that Twaka is doing, Antwan Barbecue Woods, right? So shout out to him and continue to protect the star, right? That goes a long way. And Randy Gregory, for him knocking the ball out, being a man of a man out there, I love that. Continue to keep that same energy. Now, Alden Smith, Jerry Wayne came out and said, hey, I like him and I would like to keep him on this team, which is cool. Now, he is long in the tooth. So we got to combat all of those things and put it together, Cowboy Nation. We do. We got to figure that out because we are loaded on the right defensive end groove. We are. We're so loaded that we don't even know what Bradley or not can do. We don't know. We don't know. Man, shout out to DA and D-Law on the opposite side or the opposing side, left defensive end. They doing their thing. They doing their magic. They doing what they got to do on that end. But we still got to evaluate the defense. Defense wins what? Y'all can put it down in the comment box. Defense do win. What? So that's all I'm going to have to say on this. Now, flipping over to the offensive side of the ball, you got to give praises to number 86. He stepped up to the battle tested, showed what he can do. His numbers are speaking good and glowingly. Even with the backup quarterbacks that we got, his numbers are showing pretty good on the stat sheet there. He's holding it down. I'm not going to say top 10, but, you know, he's up there. He's up there, and we can only imagine what Blake Jarwin is thinking about. Like, man, if you had the two combination, Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz, man, this offense looking a whole lot better now, right? It's getting the groove now. And before the injury, CeeDee Lamb showed us a lot of promise. He did. He showed us a lot of promise. And I think that he's going to continue to pick that up once we get a quarterback under center again and we can get this thing going in the right direction. But I do like CeeDee Lamb. I think that he's doing a remarkable job. Also with Amari Cooper, the receiver that everybody trying to give away, get away, and throw away. I'm still in favor of him. I'm still liking his overall production. I know he get a bad rep because he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a on the sideline diva type of guy. He just to himself type of guy, a silent assassin. It's good when we winning, but when we losing, everybody got to find something to blame, and they blame it right on him. And that's just how it goes, man. It's with fans, it's short for fanatics, so we get that heat, and I understand. It won't be long for people start turning on Michael Gallup. Just let that sink in. Michael Gallup been doing a solid job and doing what he can do with the limited quarterback skill sets that he so happened to be playing with. It's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. Sad, but it's true. But we'll figure this thing out down the line. Now, speaking of line, let's talk about the front five, offensive line. Out of all of this crazy stuff that went on with 2020, one thing I can say a shining opportunity has been for Tyler Biadasz, right? Biadasz showed what he can do, and shout out to Joe Looney for stepping up, being a rotational guy or a starter, whatever his name and number is called upon. He showed that he could step this thing up. And just to throw in some more positivity, Brandon Knight, right? Brandon Knight showed us that he can play on his level with the opportunity is given. Now, Terrence Steele, I don't know what he got on the Joneses. I don't know what he got on the offensive line coach, what have you. But damn it, I want some of that stuff, boy. And it's hard to even judge him, to be real with everything. To be flat out real with everything, an undrafted rookie right tackle in that particular situation, he should never been there. The Cowboys should have known that the moment that their right tackle was not showing up for practices and things like that, they should have been on the phone. They should have been calling somebody. They should have been on the phone saying, okay, I give you this, I give you that. Especially, when you have your left tackle in and out of games, right? You can't be going into the season knowing, because it was still early when all of this stuff went down. You can't be going into the season without the right tackle and your left tackle as your stable pieces. Think about it. Let this sink in for a moment. On the offensive line, the highest paid guys is on the offensive lines are your tackles. And when both of them are out, there's a reason why they are the highest paid guys, right? You should have been on the phone with the Joneses or whoever in control of that, right? Because I know that they like to pass the buck. They should have been on the phone. They should not have been relying on a Terrence Steele, hoping and wishing that he can turn things around. It's so crazy. Maybe if you had a solid right tackle and a solid left tackle to come in, maybe you don't try to run Dak Prescott to the edges. And I'm not blaming it on the injury that Dak Prescott got on the offensive line, but maybe, just maybe, right? And let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott. So many people are ready to get him out of the paint, right? Right? You guys are watching. He don't have the explosiveness. He don't have the burst. He damn sure don't have the vision at time. He cut back inside to the teeth of the defense, slipping and falling. Only had one play of 20 yards or more. And then we see somebody else that come into the mix. They got some of the similar offensive line right in front of him. And he get multiple 20 yards or more, burst plays or what have you. Maybe, just maybe, the defense look at it and say, it's 20 out there, right? Now, the glowing part of Ezekiel Elliott on first downs, he's averaging north of 3.9 yards per carry. That's pretty good. Now we can factor in the law of averages and say, okay, well, he's running the ball more on first down than any other guy in the NFL or what have you. And more NFLs are trying not to load up the box and give the house away on first down. They get a little relaxed, but that's neither here nor there story, right? My thing is with this whole entire situation is that if you have a coaching staff that's knowledgeable enough to call the right and proper running play, maybe, just maybe, you won't look so predictable and you'll figure out how to get Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard in at the same time. A change of pace type of running back in the situation. That's why they call him change of pace, right? I digress. I think that the coaching staff, they're going to have a long conversation, maybe with a cup of coffee this off season, and they're going to look at everything. Yes, this year you can give the mulligan. You can have all of the excuses. You can say, well, it's the COVID situation. It's this and it's that. It's injuries. I give them that pass. But dog it, all of those bevies of excuses will not work for next year. So I don't think that the Joneses will look at this situation and say it's one and done. I think that they'll give them another year. But midway through this thing, man, we can see the writing on the wall. The way this coaching staff collectively coach and the owners and the general manager collectively move deals, it seems like we in quicksand. The only thing that's quick about it is the sand that's sinking. So we are definitely not thinking in the right direction. We really gonna have to figure this thing out down the line and do some true evaluations. We can't be looking at the draft to be the savior of it all. Why, Law? Why? Well, even with all of those young guys that you get, you got to have wisdom and understanding and experience. Y'all already know where I'm going with this. A new broom can sweep the floor, but dog it, that old broom can get those corners. So we need some old brooms out there. Not too old that the bristles are breaking down, but get an old broom that's wise enough to figure things out. Now, this particular team, we know, we understand. We can look at Diggs and say, well, he had a fantastic year, but we don't want to see that fall off and drop off because we heard about it with LVE. Y'all remember LVE rookie year? Fantastic. We don't want those sophomore slumps for Diggs, right? So we're going to have to look at this thing and really patch up some things and say, okay, Diggs, you did a wonderful job. Okay, Wilson, you finally got the opportunity over Darian Thompson, over a Parker, over whoever else that they try to throw out there. I think of Brandon Carr. You finally got a chance. Now, let's not give this chance away. And then they need to look at the opposing side, I guess the strong safety or whatever variations of safety they calling themselves running out there. And maybe put the young guy there on that side or which would be better, would be going out there getting that veteran guy, whoever it may be. I'm not saying go get Earl Thomas because that's gone. It's over with. It's over with. He went through a whole year. Nobody even picked up the phone to call him outside of the Texans, and they used some type of excuse not to bring him in with the COVID. So all I can say is, next year, do not be rolling out there with these falsehood promises and things like that saying, we like our guys, right? Let's turn this thing around, Cowboy Nation. We flat out can. We flat out can. From the offense to the defense. Oh, special teams. Just get the people that you know for sure bone fossil. They can operate within the confines of your system. If it's that punt kicker, that brother Marquette King, if you feel that he can do a whole lot better job than what we had with Chris Jones, don't fall into the Jones politics. I don't know, they might be related, Chris Jones and Jerry, but be careful with that. But don't fall into the politics and say, hey, I want this guy or I need this guy. Throw in the need. Because in Dallas land, we ain't giving you multiple chances to mess this thing up, right? Y'all let me know. And Mike McCarthy, stick to what you know that can win you games If you look, my thing is, and that's just my thoughts right here. If you're going to be an aggressive coach, be the aggressive coach. Don't be that coach that's kind of like lukewarm, like in the middle. Some days you're aggressive, some days you're not. If you're going to be that hard-nosed coach, be the hard-nosed coach. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to be like the zero tolerance coach, be that. But don't be wishy-washy with the Cowboy Nation. I was going to say with me, but don't be wishy-washy. Stick to what you know best. If you're going to fall still fighting. If you're going to have that mantra, if you're going to have that mindset, then have that mindset. But don't be this coach that I'm going to go all in on this situation and then I'm going to teeter it back on that situation. Nah. Because I think that the level of respect will be more, and we would say to ourselves, man, this coach is just a hard-in coach. He's an aggressive coach. This is mentality. But just because you're aggressive or angry or mad at something, come with a plan, come with a source of action or a thought track. Have it all mapped out and planned out, right? Remember, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. So heading into the 2021 season, you should already know who your backup quarterback is. You should already know what he can and can't do. Not, oh, wait and see type of situation. You should already know who your backup offensive linemen are. Hey, all of this stuff that we went through the 2020 season, we should be prepared to go through something else in 2021 and be ready for it. So when your left tackle or right tackle go down, you have some reinforcements to be there. Or when your safety go down or your cornerback go down, you will have some reinforcements there. And when your interior defensive lineman go down, or you need to trade or get them out of the paint, you have some type of course of reactions, or whatever it is. Course of action. Course of action. That's all I have to say. Be proactive, not retroactive, basically. That's a better way to put it. Cowboy Nation, if you like what you heard today, hit that like button, share this content. Let friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. My name is Law Nation. That's LAW Nation. You can find me on multiple platforms under that name. And hit that like and share and subscribe button. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's go.